She's on our board of directors, Priya Natarajan. And she was one of the people that I spoke with when I started this position almost 9 years ago. Over time, Priya has been a source of guidance and advice and suggestions at Indiaspora, and I've gotten to know her. Obviously, she's become a friend, but I am going to read her bio because like a few people at Indiaspora, she has several accolades to her name, and I want to make sure I don't forget them. Priya Natarajan is an astrophysicist and a professor of astronomy and physics at Yale University. For her seminal discoveries, she was named to the Time 100 list of most influential people in the world in 2024. She is also the 2025 recipient of the prestigious Danny Heinemann Prize for Astrophysics, given by the American Astronomical Society and the American Institute of Physics. She is the only Indian physicist to have ever been awarded this prize. Come, Priya, please. Thank you. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much for that very kind introduction. It's a real privilege to be part of Indiaspora, and I've been fortunate to be involved from the very start. MR and Srinivas, I still remember that phone call that I got, roped me in and invited me to the first meeting at Montauk. And it's been an absolutely wonderful journey so far to be sort of really watching this community aggregate and really be exposed to the remarkable people of the diasporic community. Anyway, the theme for today is new models for the world and new models for the future. So I am here to make a case for blue sky research and for basic scientific research and deeper investments in basic scientific research in both the United States and in India. So both from the governments as well as from private philanthropy. I think if you just think for a minute, all the inventions and innovations, everything that we take for granted today, like the phone that you're all carrying in your pockets, would not have happened without the quantum mechanics, quantum physics revolution of the early 1900s. And the fundamental breakthroughs, any fundamental breakthrough that you can think of, well, for that matter, how you actually got here, just is powered on physics, is powered on very fundamental discoveries in physics. And as before, we are now witnessing other new revolutions and revelations of the cosmos that are also driven by physics. However, we are living in an utterly paradoxical time. While the pace of scientific research is really accelerated, in the United States especially, the distrust in science is at an all-time high. The denial of climate change and the disbelief in the efficacy of vaccines, for example, is deeply troubling. Science is really the only way, the only rigorous way that we have of converting information from the universe, from the world, to scientific fact. And all our complex global problems require science for their solution, along with, of course, our human effort and our human commitment to those. So I want to share and give you a vignette of my work to highlight two things. First, to show you what is so exciting in science today, across disciplines, not just my field, even in the biological sciences, for example. The lag between a radical new theoretical idea being proposed and it being tested with a discovery, validating it, has shrunk so dramatically that it's very possible now in a single lifetime of a scientist that an idea is proposed and it's tested and validated. The kind of thing that used to take a century, if not more. And the second point I want to make is the conceptual frameworks to fill and join the dots to show you how the conceptual frameworks, the mathematical structures, and the architecture for algorithms dealing with big data that scientists like me and our research groups have generated. Image processing, for example, the algorithms is just one example. They translate and are now very much part of your day-to-day. You may not even realize that these fundamental physical ideas have actually crept into devices and things that you use every day. So for example, if you go to for an optical examination of your retina, you go for an MRI, the analysis that is done, I'll show you in a minute, is the same kind of analysis. And it's the kind of work that is built on people like me, work that we did for actually mapping dark matter in the universe. And this is a classic example, of course, you all know, is of Einstein's theory of general relativity, right? A very obtuse, complicated mathematical theory. But GPS on your phone is a direct result of that theory. And you wouldn't know where you are today. We wouldn't have space flight without GPS. So let me just show you where we are in terms of, so cosmology and astrophysics, the quest has been to really try to find our place in the universe. And you have remarkable instruments like the James Webb Space Telescope that are currently permitting us to learn much more about the universe than we ever imagined we could. So for example, now we know quite exquisitely the timeline of the universe. We know that the majority of our universe is shaped by invisible entities. And the job of people like me is to render those invisible entities visible, to visualize them. So most of the matter in the universe is dark matter. What you see in the bottom panels are what a Hubble Space Telescope image, where you don't actually see the dark matter, but it's there, its gravity is very much there. And we back out, and what you see in the blue haze is a map of the dark matter. And in between, you see the hills and the valleys. That's a reconstruction, a high-resolution reconstruction of the distribution of invisible matter in the universe. And the cartographic techniques that we use, these are the same techniques that have now been adopted in MRIs and in mapping the retina. I want to share this other very, very exciting discovery when I was talking about the lag between proposing a radical new idea. So this is a new idea that I had proposed starting in 2005, but a prediction was made in 2017 before James Webb actually flew. It was launched, as you all know, much later. And this was a new way to make the first black holes in the universe. So I was very, very fortunate to get a gift from the universe. And they actually found exactly the kind of object that I had predicted in 2023. So this is just to kind of show you the pace of research has really, really accelerated. And you know, in universities, we have seeded the intellectual leadership in AI to the corporate world. And that has opened up many important questions, ethics, privacy, and you know, its impact on humanity. I hope this is not going to be the case for fundamental science and for blue sky research. And I hope that vested interests actually that prevent us from taking creative risks as scientists working in the academic setting actually are allowed to continue and are well funded. So I just want to point out here that you know, this is the Hope Explorer from the UAE that went to Mars, at least did reconnaissance on Mars, as well as Mangalyaan. And you have these incredible machines that I just want to highlight the work, the results that they've given us, and their actual creation and fabrication, the technologies that have gone into it are just astounding. So none of this would have happened without fundamental science. So I just want you to pay attention to that. And I just want you all to support STEM education and equitable access to STEM education everywhere in the world. And also realize that you know, there's a way in which we can use the kind of knowledge that people like me are sort of giving you about the far reaches of the universe to allow us to transcend beyond our differences and to think globally. And we have to realize and take stewardship of our planet. There is no planet B. This is all we've got. So I think we need to be better stewards. So I'll just stop here. Thank you so much.